Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living life to the fullest? You know what? I know you are. That's why I'm bringing you a very special Valentine's Day edition of The Fully Engaged Life.
The way you look at me like you're caught up in a dream and you're hanging on to daylight, drifting off to sleep, rest your eyes. I will keep loving you and all of the birds sing their sweet melodies. It's a tune that keeps playing, reminds you of me, oh. And I will keep loving you. Here in my arms is where you belong. Hold me close if you ever feel alone. You are my destiny forever and on. And I will keep loving you. This is the start to the rest of our lives, and it's sealed with a kiss. Our souls are aligned, and I whisper, I will keep loving you.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. No, we did not get a new theme song, unfortunately, because that would be incredible. Such a beautiful, heart-opening song. That, my friends, is the amazing talent of Mike Annuzzi, and we are fortunate to have Mike with us today as he and I bring you a very special Valentine's Day edition of The Fully Engaged Life. I asked Mike to join us today because he works with vibration in a very direct way through both his music and his vocals. He's someone I've had the pleasure of seeing perform live on more than one occasion. He is an extremely talented musician, singer, songwriter, and performer. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Rob, thank you so much. That was such a sweet introduction.
It is certainly well-deserved, and I am thrilled to have you on the show today. Did I leave anything out? Musician, singer, songwriter, performer?
I am a music producer as well. I've worked in the music industry for many years. In all assets of the music industry, it's been just such a beautiful career path to take for me. Music has always been my passion as a child, and I'm just so lucky that I get to share music for a living.
When we get to do what we love for a living, you just can't beat that. But when it comes to musical talent, guys like you got it all. You can do everything. And you didn't leave any of that talent for guys like me. I can't play a thing. So I can't play anything at all. I can't even read notes. So you got all of that talent, and you didn't leave any for anybody like me. But that's all right. That's right. I would get there.
Thank you. Well, it is something that is constantly practiced and developed over so many years. And, you know, every time I perform with another musician, it's just another learning opportunity for me. And I don't take a minute of any part of this for granted at all. So it's just a beautiful thing that I get to experience on a moment by moment basis. And this is just another beautiful aspect. And I appreciate you having me on today so much.
It's my pleasure. Trust me, I was really thrilled to be able to get you on. And, I've been able to hear you play. And of course, we have your CDs as well. And it's really interesting that the vibration that you work with. And so I stress so much about vibration from a spiritual perspective, and I'd mentioned music, here and there, but it's very nice to be able to bring somebody on that actually works with it. And the music that you create is very positive, very loving, very high vibration. And I really encourage people to check that out. And they can use this to, for instance, if they're having a bad day or they're just feeling a little down, they can put in your music, and that alone will help them to raise their vibration. And that's a very powerful thing. So that's, and that's your superpower, right? That's what you get to bring to the world, and that is incredible. I try and teach them how to raise it through means and keep it up, and so we're doing very similar things from very different paths, and yeah, I just love it. So the majority of your music thus far that I've been exposed to seems to focus a lot on love and romance. I know I've heard you do cover songs and other music, so your range is very, very wide. You do a fantastic job with everything you sing. But my wife and I were attracted to your music because of that type of genre. And I think in the times we're in, we're seeing a lot of relationships kind of veering off from idea of love and romance into convenience, into necessity, things like that, separate vacations, separate lives, separate everything. And since that is diminishing, I think music like you're producing is more important than ever and more of a gift to the world than it could have been at any other time. Because now is when we need that stuff. I mean, this is part of our humanity, right? Is to have someone to love and go through life with and enjoy some romance with. And when we start to lose a little of our humanity. So we really enjoy that aspect of your music, but we're big fans anyway. We enjoy it all. So hopefully through what we're sharing here today, we can rekindle a little love and romance and relationships, especially since we'll be releasing this on Valentine's Day. And I'll be posting all of your contact information below so people can go to all of your social media, your website, everything to contact you and enjoy your music as well. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. No, your music is perfect for Valentine's Day and for all the hopeless romantics out there, as well as those that are just getting into a romantic relationship. So let's start by hearing a little bit more about yourself. Why you got into music. What other types of songs do you enjoy singing? Anything like that you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I started playing music when I was a child. My father was an accordion player. I grew up in an Italian family. The accordion was a very special instrument for many people in my entire family. And my dad was very talented performing and writing and playing the accordion live, just an incredible musician. So I would stare at him for hours just wondering how is it possible to play that kind of instrument. And I had a neighbor that ended up borrowing a guitar, didn't like it, so they lent it to me for a couple weeks. And I loved it so much that a couple weeks later, my father found a guitar at a thrift store that I saved up money for, and I purchased it. And before my before I walked back into my home to show my guitar off to my mom, my dad stopped me at the front door and he said, "Mike, I don't want to see this guitar in your closet in 2 weeks." Meaning he didn't want me to give up. And I said, "Don't worry, Dad, that's not going to happen." Well, sure enough, it's been 20 something years later and I'm still playing more and more and more. And I still have that same encouragement, from my entire family, which is something that I feel very lucky about. The writing of songs started at an early age as well. And I think that kind of ties back to, what you were talking about love and what love is becoming today and the convenience of it. Well, I was a child starting to write love songs. I didn't know anything about love. It was just a simplistic idea of what I thought it could potentially mean. And I think that I still try and keep that simplicity with my lyrics and lyrical content because it's understandable by others. And it is the true form of, you don't have to think about that feeling. You don't have to think about that attraction and that, what you said, vibration. It just is there, and don't run from it. It's that. So that's kind of the same way that I still continue to write songs, try and keep it in a simplistic route and just express, what I truly feel. And I think if I truly feel it, somebody else does too. And it means a lot that they can connect with those words especially, and also the musical content behind it. So yeah, it's all, like I said earlier too, it's always a developing thing as well. Music for me is always just continuing to develop. So
That's amazing that you were able to come up with lyrics and write songs dealing with feelings of love as a child. And I find that very interesting because as children, we have that innocence about us, and we're still connected to a lot of higher vibrational frequencies. We're not necessarily as plugged into the ego as children, right? That comes in around 7 to 9 years old, starts to develop for people. So yeah, that's very cool. And it makes a lot of sense that, that's the feeling you're still connected to at that age. And then being able to keep that connection, that's huge. So yeah, what a gift that is. And then to be able to express that outwardly and share that with others, that's incredible.
Thank you.
And we're very happy you're doing that. Do you do anything? You were saying earlier when we were talking about branching out. You've got some other songs too, and so we have 2 of your CDs. I believe that's all you have currently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have under the radar other one, but those are the 2. I actually built the recording studio that I'm actually sitting in currently for this interview. I built this room with my dad, and I played all the instruments on every track that you hear there. I wrote, I recorded, I produced, I mixed, I mastered all of those sounds. So like I said, music for me is a constant learn, because I didn't know how to do any of that until I said, I'm going to try and do this. And, looking back, I wish I did things differently, but again, it's a constant learn. And I think that that development, that the innocence and the not knowing how to do something is good, because you always develop. So
yeah, absolutely. So we've got the first CD, at least that we can get, which is self-titled, and then your second one is called The One. Both of those, my wife and I listen to all the time. Just love them. So I understand you're in the studio now, working on another. And can you tell us a little bit about the new music that you're coming out with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm still performing all of the instruments on it. A lot of the lyrical content, it has to do with love. Whether that's a romantic version of love, or whether it's a supportive and just a general connection with somebody else love. I recently wrote a song called Home. And that song, the lyrical content is basically like, I will be there for you no matter what. And it doesn't mean necessarily like a romantic, I will be there for you, just anyone that you can count on me. And it's kind of important to remind yourself that I love your podcasts. I listen to them all the time, and you talk a lot about the ego. I haven't had a chance to read your book yet, but I know that it's in there, and I can't wait to read it. It's really nice to step out of your own desires and remind others that they can count on you for what they need. because a lot of people do need support, whether it is reminding your honey that you love them on a daily basis, or calling your family member, or just letting your friend know, hey, I hope you're having a good day. Those things go very far. And I think it's really important to remind others how much your relationship means to you and them. And so that's basically the lyrical content of that song in particular, but just an overall, love connection with everyone.
Nice. No, that's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that's something that we get so busy doing sometimes that we forget, to say to people, to let them know. And that's something definitely, as I've gotten older, I try to be far more mindful of. And as I've gotten older, I've gained some ground in becoming increasingly mindful through the different practices I employ. But yeah, it is very important. It's very reassuring to have somebody know that they got somebody in their corner no matter what. They've got somebody, that they can talk to. They've got somebody that they can depend on if things get hard or whatever. And I see the trend, you mentioned the ego, and so much of the time the ego causes us to get so self-absorbed, and not always in a negative, egotistical way necessarily. Just we're so busy and we're having to concentrate and focus so heavily on what we're doing that we just don't even think, to say these things to other people. And it's very important to remain mindful and do that and keep that connection with our friends, with our family, with all of the people that are special in our lives. And when Amy and we were talking earlier about how much we travel, and some of the people we've met, we have had such open-hearted connections to, and we only spoke to them for maybe 10 minutes in some other country, don't even know their name, we'll never see them again. But we had this incredible connection that you can feel when both people are just speaking raw and honestly to one another. And it lets us know we are definitely all connected. And I think respecting that, I think even more honoring that is something that we should definitely become constantly mindful of. So I think your music will be able to help us do that with this new CD you'll be releasing.
Thank you.
So we mentioned vibration a little bit here, and to pull this in, when we look at the world of vibration and energy, and of course all energy vibrates, all that sort of thing, we understand that love, appreciation, joy, these are some of the highest level, highest frequency vibrations that exist, and love is what takes us closest to God, the universe, whatever term people would like to place on that. And what we are doing through a lot of spiritual practices is trying to touch upon that highest frequency, closest to that, and experience, I'll say experience a little bit of the divinity that we can, even when we're here in physical form. And so obviously you have the effect of vibration through the music that you play, and then you have the vibration effect from your vocals on top of that. So you got, multiple forms of vibration going on in your music, which is just super cool and powerful. Are you aware of your vibrational frequency? How you feel? Are you feeling, love and appreciation and joy in things when you go to write a song or while you're singing a song? Are you aware of any of that? And do you have a method that you use to prepare yourself to write something or sing something?
Yes. I think that preparing myself is the hardest part, because if, for example, I'm not in the moment to feel a certain way and I'm trying to convey that sort of song to somebody else, people feel that. But when I actually feel the words that I'm saying and playing, and they also feel that, and it's really special, and it's a very difficult thing to do and accomplish all the time. But just in general, writing, I mean, it's really funny. You talked about the divinity, and I was a music student in college, and I just remember studying music of the church, and they said, "Oh, we used that note because it conveyed a certain emotion," or "We wouldn't use that chord in the church because that was kind of a, a demonic chord. It was an evil sounding chord." And, you use a major key, which major is really a happy sounding key. And you use a minor key if you're kind of sad. So there's so much that you do with just the music, the chord progression, that you already can convey what the words should say or what the feeling is just by the sound. And it's so beautiful to be able to do that. Also, I think you mentioned something about practicing smiles recently. I don't exactly remember, but it was a thing that you said you did every day. And when I'm recording in the studio, I heard about this, and I heard that when you smile and you say the words, you can hear the smile on the recording. So there was a love song that I think it was "I Will Keep Loving You," a song that I know that you and Amy connected with, and it's honestly one of my most powerful experiences with sharing music was when I found out about that with you guys. But I was smiling at one part of that song because I knew that "I Will Keep Loving You" is so special, and it's a very happy thing. And if you hear the "I will keep loving you" as in a smile, you feel that happiness. So it's really important to connect both, just as a songwriter, both the musical portion and the lyrical content, to be in that happy place if that's where you're going with it. And it's really, again, it's really simple. It's just a thing that, is innate. We are constantly trying to convey what we feel, and if that's the direction that we have to go, that's what, I guess that's what we need to convey. So I try and keep the happy songs there, the happy chord progressions there, the happy melodies there, that people can connect with. And I think it transcends the language barrier. Music is a universal language that it doesn't matter if you know what the lyrics are about. You already know. Sorry, it doesn't matter if you know what the lyrics translate to in your native language, but you already know what the song is about by hearing it. And that's it's a big responsibility, and it's a big blessing to feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really speaks to the nature of vibration and how that vibration is at the core of each of us, giving us the ability to translate it like that, like you're saying, even if it's in a different language, you can still feel it, and that's I think one of the most important things about music is the ability to feel it, not just listen to it, and have it be something playing in the background or as a distraction, but something you can really feel and identify with and enjoy. I'm just curious, in your shows, I know you're playing live shows all the time, and have you ever noticed in the audience as you're playing, have you noticed people, like couples or whatever, kind of maybe scoot their chairs a little closer to each other, maybe put their arm around each other? You know what I mean? Just react to the feeling of the vibration of your music.
Yeah, and it's such a It's a gift. It is really a gift for me to see others connect in that way. And it's just beautiful. When I witness that, it also puts me in a really great place to perform for them and create that moment and that experience. It's just absolutely beautiful because there's no distraction in that moment. It just happens, and it's just an absolutely beautiful thing to witness. I've performed at many weddings in the past as well, and I think it's just because in those moments that people have heard my music out at a venue, and they ask me to come join them at their wedding, which is the most beautiful,
Yeah.
just absolutely beautiful moment of devotion to another person, and just so much love in the air, not only for the wedded couple, but just everyone around, just celebrating the beauty that's in front of them. And it just means a lot to be able to add, it's an addition to that vibration that's already there. And it's just, it's really beautiful to be a part of those moments.
That makes what you do a pretty great job, huh?
Honestly, I am so lucky.
Definitely. Well, and during your performances that I've been able to enjoy, you're always very positive. Very there's a lot of appreciation, surrounding what you're doing and how you interact with the audience, and that's fantastic. You don't always see that. You've been able to sit and listen to many local musicians and some fantastic people, and most of everybody is really incredible. But some people are just there doing a job, and they don't, you know what I mean? It's not really that connection or anything. And some people are just not able to open themselves up that way. So the fact that you can do that makes any of your performances even that much more special, as far as I know Amy and I are concerned. And because you can just feel that mutual appreciation and high vibration and connection and everything going on. And yeah, and I think that's why you're so popular with places out in Napa and things too, is because everybody is always want you to come out and play at those things. And and everybody is there just relaxing and enjoying themselves and one another, and it's just a great atmosphere for that. So yeah, we really enjoy that.
I kind of think that I think I said this a little bit earlier, but I think there's a big responsibility. Not saying that my job is hard, but there is a big responsibility that I don't want to invade somebody else's moments. I don't want to distract anyone else. I want to be a part of it. And, recently I watched the Super Bowl, and I saw the halftime show. Not going to say anything negative about the halftime show, but I feel like it was just a lot of noise and a lot of performance and a lot of action, versus I watched back so many in the past that if you have a chance, if you haven't seen it, the Michael Jackson Super Bowl performance. I've always been a big fan of Michael Jackson for some reason. Ever since I was like 3 years old, I remember trying to moonwalk and stuff. But I watched an entire audience happy. And I was thinking about the song that the people were happy about. And it was about basically, it was the We Are the World song.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And so it's a positive song for especially the children, to bring them up into a beautiful space, right? And we're living for that, basically. And, as a grown man, I kind of think, if I heard that song, I would probably be like, nah, I wouldn't really like that. I'm tough. I want to listen to something with some grit, And
Sure.
Every grown man at the Super Bowl was almost in tears of joy and raising their hands up in the air. And it was just so amazing to see what a positive song, and how it bound the entire world together in that one moment. every single person in the audience at the Super Bowl, that moment, they were all involved in that performance. And people watch it back so many times and constantly compare, the new stuff versus that one performance in particular. And it's just like, again, some of the production is just absolutely amazing on what's happening on the Super Bowl stuff today. But that was just such low production. And again, it was very simple stuff. And the meaning of the songs were just so simple. It's just real. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't really know why I got into that direction, but it's a powerful thing to not disrupt somebody else's trains of thought, I guess. But to build somebody's moment, I guess. It's a big responsibility.
Absolutely. No, that's an excellent way to put it. And as you were describing that, I was sitting here recalling the times that we got to hear you play, and yeah, you're right. You do that. You manage that. I mean, as someone in the audience, you don't feel intruded upon by your music. You don't feel like you're up there going, "Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, pay attention to me right now," and doing that sort of thing. But yet your performance is just kind of connecting with everyone, and yeah, it draws everyone in to have a moment together, and without being intrusive at all, and just kind of, you can feel like these energetic chords coming out, and just everybody's connected and enjoying the same thing, and that makes the moment even more powerful, because everybody that's paying attention there, everybody that's observing, we're all connected to the exact same thing. And so many times people, you might even have a couple over here and 4 people over here. Everybody's connected to their own thing and very separate. And that brings us all together, lets us connect and converge in a single way, and just kind of enjoy that moment together. So I think your music is very masterful, and the way you present it allows that to happen quite nicely. With Valentine's Day being today, the day of the release, is there anything you would like to share as far as your message to people? Amy and I are in the process. We wrote a book on conscious relationships, on what soulmates were actually supposed to be about, if they exist, what they are, all these things. And the status of relationships has changed so fast over the past few years that we were in the final editing process, and we've had to actually go back and rewrite certain things to include the direction that relationships have gone, so that we're able to offer up-to-date advice and ideas regarding that to help people. So we have people that are very patiently, thankfully, waiting on that book to come out. Do you have anything that you would share for people as far as encouragement in looking for someone special, having romance in their life, things like that?
Wow, that's it's so that's a hard question. I guess, the first thing that I would like to I guess input on that is, I think I also heard this on one of your podcasts in the past, and it was learning to allocate time for myself to feel how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was just like a really big eye-opening thing, because if I was feeling like I was looking for love, that probably means there's love out there for me to find. And it's a really important thing to recognize how you're truly feeling inside. And, that's a really happy thing. So if you're single, you're going out to look for love, that's a really exciting time. And it's just really, it's unpaved territory, and it's uncertainty, and excitement and a draw, a magnetic force that you're just go towards it, and it will be great because, again, the simplistic viewpoint is just go for it, and it will be amazing. I think that the other thing is too, for everyone that's in a relationship, they're not supposed to be super easy. I don't think. I think that sometimes when you put two people together, it could be difficult. But the easy part is allowing yourself to work on the relationship and reminding each other how much you love each other, because that is the simple part of it. And that you can't forget. It's not, you don't need to know how to do anything. It's just how we are. And even if you have a rough day, you can always go to bed at night saying, I love you. And the morning comes again, the sun will rise again, and I love you will start the day again. And, I truly believe that anything in life that you want to work on, you will get better at. And just like my music and how I feel like that my writing has developed in some sort of way, I have to allocate that same effort, if not actually probably way more, when another person is involved. And that is a very large responsibility. And I'm very thrilled to have experienced that in my life. And I feel very lucky to have that. And it is Valentine's Day is a terrific reminder to everyone to share love with all of those that you care about in your life, whether it's a romantic love or family or a friend or even a coworker or your neighbor. Wave to the person that you're walking by. It's a really great feeling. And once you put yourself out there, those feelings and those actions, they always come right back to you. And it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to hear something that's kind of difficult for people to believe, that I'll share with you anyway, is in June, Amy and I have been married for 7 years. We've been together for between 11 and 12. And in that time, we have never had an argument. You believe that? We don't hold things back. I'm not holding anything in. She doesn't hold anything in. It's just, it's so easy. I don't even know what to make of it sometimes myself. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's so rare. I've never really experienced that. I've never observed that in any other relationships in my life. And I'm not sure why I was so fortunate as to end up in this one, but my goodness, I'm grateful every moment of every day for her and our relationship. And yeah, it's just incredible. So, yeah, I mean, there are times where we all have to work on things, and life is going to throw some curveballs, and you got to put a little more effort in certain areas, to stay positive or to accomplish things or whatever it is. But I think at the core of that is, like you say, go to bed saying, I love you, wake up saying, I love you. As long as that love is constantly expressed and shared and felt,
yeah,
then you've got everything else is easy. It'll work itself out. But when that gets sacrificed, when that gets too difficult to say, then I think things get very hard for people, unfortunately. So yeah, that's wonderful advice. And it's, even there was a point in my life many years ago, not since Amy and I have been together, but many years ago, even when I was younger, I had a very difficult time telling anyone I loved them. I felt it made me feel very uncomfortable, very vulnerable. It was ego. When I was able to let go of that, overcome that, and say that more freely, man, it just feels good. And, people deserve that. So they deserve to have that shared with them. So, yeah, but this has been amazing, and if we did get into an argument at some point, no, I'm not going to throw in a towel or anything. I told her I'm with her forever, and that's it. And if we did have to work on it, we wouldn't be thrown for a loop at all. We adapt to the situation, and the one constant in any situation is us being together, and that's a very rare thing, because I see everybody, not everybody, but many people going in different directions right now. And I think if they start to come back together a little bit and have that deeper connection, I think it leads to a greater sense of happiness in the relationship. This is just my opinion.
Well, I will testify that it's absolutely beautiful seeing you and Amy's relationship. Just from an outside perspective, I have seen you in audiences, and I wouldn't have known that you had been together that long. I actually thought it could have been a very, very early date, and see how enamored you are at each other, and celebrating each other, and smiling at each other, and your eyes are just so open with each other. It's a very beautiful thing to witness, and I feel very blessed to have seen you and Amy at many places sharing these moments. And honestly, I am so lucky to have met you. Not only to hear your words on your podcast, and I can't wait to read your book, but also just to witness you as a person, and you and Amy together in your relationship has been just such a great opportunity for me to see. And I wish that everyone could see that from you. And I want to thank you for sharing all of your insight and your knowledge and your experience with all of us, because every time I listen to you, I feel so much better.
Good.
A great feeling.
No, I'm very honored by that. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind to say. Yeah, I'm just trying to share what has made the greatest impact in my life with everyone, and hope that they can experience some of the joy that I've come to experience in mine. Before we wrap things up, I want to ask a personal question. I'm just going to do it during the interview. So I've always been attracted to the guitar since I was a very young kid. Still to this day, when I hear a nice guitar riff, it just gets me. So she bought me a guitar last Christmas, and Christmas before last. And what advice would you have as far as somebody that has no musical talent whatsoever, but has a great interest and has no problem practicing and dedicating? What is the best way to go about learning the guitar? We've looked at things like online courses. Guitar Tricks is one that comes to mind. I don't know, there's some other ones on there. We've looked at guitar teachers in the area, actually getting, some one-on-one time. What would you recommend would be the best way for a total beginner to get started?
Well, my first guitar lesson that I usually give to students, I haven't had students in a while, but at one point I was teaching a lot of students. And my first one was breaking the guitar down simply. Everything is very simple in music. There's only so many notes that you could use. On the guitar, there's only 6 strings. And so when you look at the guitar as, I have to hold it this way or do it this way or whatever, once you learn a shape or a pattern, which is, again, one of the most basic things that we do, a child can figure out what a circle is or a square or a rectangle so easily. They can't even say the word square, but they know what a square is. That's kind of how it is on the guitar. And I encourage people to look at the guitar as shapes, I guess, and sounds, because I didn't have a guitar lesson for, 15 years. When I first started playing, I was playing for about 15 years before I had one guitar lesson.
Wow.
And so you don't really need you just need to know what you want to hear, I guess, and put your fingers in the right places. I also encourage people always have the guitar accessible. Don't put it in the case in your closet or under your bed or anything. Have the guitar in an area that you could walk up to it on a regular basis, but just feeling it, tangibly touching it is the best start. And then all of a sudden, things come together. It works a very cool thing. The guitar works your mind, it works your right hand, and it works your left hand. You know, you have to really focus and become like part of that instrument. It's an extension of you. I've heard a lot of people talk about that, but like one of my favorites, John Mayer, he was talking about the guitar face that people do. And I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't even play a note, but I would stand in front of the mirror and pretend that I looked like a rock star rocking the guitar, just like I would see those famous people, Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, all make that guitar face. And, you know, John Mayer in his interview was saying, like, it doesn't even matter, or he is like unaware that he is actually making a face to make the note happen. Sometimes he thinks his face is completely blank or neutral. But when you look back on the video, his face is kind of, you know, his lips are sealed tighter, his mouth is open wide, and his eyes are clenched. And, you know, his whole body really is part of each note individually. So it is, you know, playing an instrument is an extension of what you're trying to convey. And it's a really cool thing that, you know, everybody does it differently. And you look back on all the rock stars and how their guitar face is, but it sounds like it looks, you know?
Yep. Yep.
So,
yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Well, I could keep you all day talking. I enjoy your company so much. But I know you're busy and trying to get things in the studio taken care of there. So I guess what I'd like you to do is give you a couple moments here and tell the audience how they can find you, how they can get a hold of your music, maybe where they could come and see you live with wherever you're playing, coming up soon.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone could check me out on my website, MikeAnnuzzi.com, and it's Mike A 2 N's U 2 Z's I.com. And it has all my dates on there and information about where I'm playing. I perform a lot in the Napa Valley area in Sonoma and all over Silicon Valley, the San Francisco Bay Area, down to Paso Robles and San Luis Obispo areas. And I'm just so lucky that I get to perform music all around the state. I think I play more than 300 shows a year. These years have been very, very great to me in sharing my music. And, you know, I'm lucky that I get to go to a lot of places, but anyone can follow me on the Twitters and Instagrams, all at Mike Annuzzi. And I do a Mike at the mic is my hashtag, Mike at the mic. And a lot of times I like to take a picture of my microphone out to the audiences because, like, it's not, I could take selfies all day, but I don't feel it's about me. It's about experience. And I want people to be able to see what I see at the same time as what they see. And so I use that hashtag Mike at the mic. It's been several years doing that. So it's pretty cool to share those moments too and let people see what I see out of my microphone. So
awesome. All right. Well, excellent. And I will be sure to include all of the social media and website address. All of that will be spelled out in the description box below the interview here so that they can have that. And we're looking forward to your new CD and seeing you again live. And some of the events that we attend throughout the year are kind of dependent upon whether you play at them or not. So if we know you're playing, it's a done deal. We're already signed up, paid for, ready to go. So it's definitely a selling point. And I appreciate your time. It was very gracious of you to take the time out of your day and spend with myself and my audience. And this is being downloaded in dozens of countries worldwide, and I hope that people in other countries are able to get a hold of your music and enjoy it as well. So yeah, good luck to you, and thank you very much for being a special guest on the show today.
Oh, it's my honor and my pleasure, Robert. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, my friend, we will wrap it up, and I hope I get to see you playing again live very soon.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you.
All right, take care. I would like to thank everyone for spending their Valentine's Day with Mike and I. All of his social media and contact information will be in the box below the interview. Make sure and follow him on social media. Also, I really encourage you to get a hold of his music. It is fantastic. And if you ever have the opportunity to see Mike perform live, I highly recommend that you do everything you can to attend the show. You will not regret it. And before I end the program with another one of Mike's awesome songs, I have to give you the details of the giveaway. Here it is. I'm going to give away 2 autographed copies of my book, and I'm going to give away 3 free ebooks. Everything is totally free. Even for the book, I'll pay the postage. Here's what you have to do. You have to email me at expansionmastery@hotmail.com. And all you have to do is put your name and the words Mike Annuzzi Rocks. That's Mike Annuzzi Rocks. You can specify whether you would prefer the actual book or the ebook in your email as well. The first 5 people to email me are the ones that are going to get the books. All emails must be in by midnight Sunday the 16th, because that's when this promotion ends. Good luck. We opened the show with Mike's song, I Will Keep Loving You, and he has agreed to allow me to play us out using an entire track of one of his other songs. Both of these songs are from the album Mike Annuzzi, The One. Please enjoy it and have a fantastic Valentine's Day. Take care, everybody.
You got the eyes to make a grown man cry. You got the smile, lets me know you're mine. The body gonna make me weak, the soul that keeps making me. You got me begging, in the middle of the night I'm chasing. What's on the other side I should be saving. What's left of my soul but tonight. You got me. If I played my rhythm, would you sing my rhyme? If I kept you warm, would you stay the night? We could talk a little bit about everything and watch the time fly by before the sun arrives. Saying sweet nothings without telling lies and looking deep down into each other's eyes. And baby, you know where this is going, yeah. You got me begging, in the middle of the night I'm chasing. What's on the other side I should be saving. What's left of my soul but tonight. You got me begging, in the middle of the night I'm chasing. What's on the other side I should be saving. What's left of my soul but tonight. You got me. No, I don't wanna let go, and I don't wanna leave you now. No, I don't wanna leave you now. Oh. You got me begging, in the middle of the night I'm chasing. What's on the other side I should be saving. What's left of my soul but tonight. You got me, baby. but in the middle of the night I'm chasing what's on the other side. I should be saving what's left of my soul, but tonight you got me. You got me.